Welcome back to Factorio and the September community map. So last time I got my first modules and beacons going, which I used for these labs. Still kind of short on science packs because of various resources. I think this is mostly because of circuits hair, which is because I need to redo this copper, and I think this isn't particularly enough either. This just shows how much power this uses. So you've got the beacons here, that's using 36 megawatts. This is just for this small little science setup. More than half of all the furnaces I've got in total. So power could be an issue. Now I've got two choices. I can do solar or I can do nuclear. Now I'm kind of tempted to do nuclear because I'd have to try and figure out how to build around this stuff. Like, yeah, it's going to be tricky just finding a place to build. Maybe I can build there and sort of build around the cliffs. Could be interesting. Obviously the uranium is there, so from there to there would be kind of convenient. Not seeing any other uranium on the map so far, so that could be the only uranium I've got. Also looks like stone might be running low, so that'll probably be another thing to do first. So I've got the stone patch there, so this isn't going to be a train. I'm just going to throw some miners on it. And I guess I'll move to electric furnaces somewhere here, maybe there. And then, well, there's the bus, so it just needs to come across. So not really much to show there, but that is the plan. And for copper, I'm just going to take, I was going to say take more down this bus. I might actually need more copper in general. Okay, so I've got the new stone built, so that is here. Actually, once I fit the furnaces in here, nice and compact, goes on there, feeds into the original bus. But on, I just extended off of there, kicked the biters a little bit further over. And for now, I'm just doing a basic mine to furnace. It's probably more than 4 fast belts and doing like 6 or 8 way balancers gets complicated, which means I kind of try to avoid it-ish, but that's not really worked out that well. Simplest way I could do it for the time being, because as I said, I kind of want to get onto doing beacons and modules, and if I didn't need more iron right now, I would have waited until I could do that and done something quite different. Looks like I could definitely use more copper as well, so what I think I'll do is just go doing the beacons. Even though power might be an issue, and I'm willing to solve that, and even though furnaces are not really the most efficient thing to beacon anyway, so what I'll probably do to try and cut down the number of beacons is I think an 8 beacon setup is going to be more effective. So what I mean by that is I have 8 of these with 1 furnace in between, like so, because you have 4 there and 4 there. Which is actually an easier layout as well, because you have that. That then has productivity and then this tiles like so. So it takes up, I think it takes up less space than 12. But I'm definitely thinking it's less beacons and hopefully more power efficient. I'm not really sure. I'm going to do it this way and see. Actually, the other thing I've got is I've got some express belts being made now, so to actually get stuck on there. No, must be some sort of glitch. I thought I was stuck on there, I couldn't move a second. No, so I've got express belts, so probably do express belt in and out. Obviously, because of productivity, what actually happens here is they get a full belt of copper ore, full belt of copper plates going out. You actually use slightly less than 1 belt of copper ore, but since it's only 20%, it's not going to be a difference between an express belt and a fast belt. So to have an express belt out, I would still have an express belt in, it just wouldn't run at full speed, which I think is fine. So I set 3 of those, so I've got my standard power pole out, so we're going to have input, inputs and output, or I say inputs and output. So that's 3, 6, how big do I want to make this I wonder? That would be 12, 9. I think 12 is a good number. Because remember, these are, it's not just the 20%, this has got the beacons around. So if we look at the speed, is it going to tell me? It's not going to tell me because they've not got power. But basically, give the extra crafting speed. 12 is what I would call being the, I know it's the right number, I can't know if it's exact or if it's just my, I like doing things in groups of 3 and it works just about number. Especially when it comes to these, the maths gets really complicated, so either you can use a calculator, some tools around, or I tend to do it by look and feel. Like this design, it tiles vertically nicely, so I can always add some or remove some off the end quite simply. And this is where 20 beacons chose to be completely inadequate for anything, so let's go to 40 for next time. I have to go get some more of those. Probably going to do 4 belts. There's copper there and there, so it could be 2 sources of copper if I need it. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other complexity I'm going to have here, I need to solve in a second, is they're all going to insert onto one side. What But I think I need to do it on both sides, so I think I need to go down to 6 there. And actually I've got a perfect space there, and then sideload it. But since I've sideloaded there, I can't make this a fast belt anyway, so this won't work. So I'm going to use this express belt and just have to make more expensive stuff. So I had a quick detour from the copper plates just to upgrade this. I got tired of them getting almost destroyed repeatedly. So I see how this works now. I think that's working a lot better. So basically what I did is, because they're coming at that angle, I just basically brought the turrets out so that's a straight line. So these turrets here are kind of extras now. Probably should just put the belt over there. But yeah, so the contour, basically the line of turrets matches the line they attack on. Hopefully that'll work a lot better. And I just doubled this up. I think this being double, mostly they probably come in that direction. We'll have to see, but hopefully now I won't be constantly getting turrets destroyed down there. So nearly done on the copper, so I picked another one that's against the water, so this was a bit of a pain to route. Not really any different though, there's only like so many different ways of showing miners, at least without going to modules, which I'm not doing right now. So basically just trying to fit them in around this edge slowly, which took a lot of time. They come down there to sort of merge them together. Little trick there, I couldn't find another way of routing it, is you can route them down the middle when you have this layout, because you can just underground belt under each of the power poles, so you don't have to have a blank line where the power poles are, you can just underground belt it. And then this is some sort of balancing-ish thing, and then that balances it properly. And then once I've got the rest of these built, a lot of these are missing their speed modules, so that's got like, that's what the difference is here, so that's minus 30% crafting speed, so that's 1.4. These ones down here, that's 9.6, so you're going from 1.4 to 9.6 for the beacon, so it's a massive difference. And obviously this is backed up, so actually it's not going to run at full speed right now anyway. But that is pretty much it for the copper. Gonna have to see how this one's at full speed, but I should be able to use these beacon layouts for the rest of the furnaces. And then not really much more to say, it's just going to get a different name, similar to the iron. But because the unload stations again have a shared name and they each have the circuit condition, I could just have how many trains I want on this route. This being a much higher capacity one, maybe I'll put a second train on it instead of being one train. It's like here, there's only one train on this because so far it always gets back before that's filled up. Maybe with this high capacity I'll go 2 trains, not sure yet. I'll probably do 1 train, and if it's backing up at some point I'll add a second one. I guess the other thing to mention, I can't even mention it before, so the reason why I picked this location is because of space here to put lots of furnaces and for more train stations. So although I've got this copper here, it happened to be here, my plan is to have all unloading trains, furnaces, then copper plates trains. And in fact, I might even shift that down further and then have even more furnaces and basically make this a centralized copper smelting point. And one final update, so I just cleared out the power armor because I have managed to make the power armor Mark II. I guess I could have done that a lot slower, but I managed to put the wrong one back on, didn't I? That's the one I wanted to open. I guess I could have done it faster with the same machines, but I need the one, so I was like, I'll just handcraft it slowly while I was doing other stuff. I wonder how many people noticed that. So basically going to have 2 reactors, might build some more of those. Put all my batteries in. And I'm probably not going to bother with the portable solar panels anymore because you see that's 750 each. Like, it's so much more than I had. Like, let's see. I've actually showed some stats. No, it doesn't show a total. I was wondering if it showed a total, like, output. Okay, what has gone wrong now? I guess I need more turrets down there as well. Oh, I might do that in between. Anyway, so what I was saying is, yeah, so since there's like basically 1,500, it's not a big deal having the solar panels once you get the reactors. So probably put some more, maybe 1 more personal well, might 2, and I like to have a lot. Actually, I might just do 5 like normal, even though I want some military stuff. The reason why I want more is not because of the robot charging or capacity, it's because it increases the area. So every time you add a robot, it basically increases the total area, but beyond that 40 by 40, and lots of area I think is really nice. The other thing I might get is some of these personal defense closes. I don't think I've actually researched those yet. Nope, I haven't. So looking at this, I need to research that, then the laser turret. Then that, and then I'm going to need a whole bunch of like damage upgrades and stuff. So our energy weapons, which I have done nothing on. Well, actually, that reminds me. So since I forget when, of course, it's just weapon shooting speed now. So it isn't a separate shooting speed for... Oh, it is separate shooting speed for laser. That is confusing. Yeah, I'm sure it used to be called physical or bullet shooting speed or something. Yeah, so I need to get these as well. I thought there was one for each, so yeah. Get the personal laser defenses, but they won't be very good. I need to upgrade them, but that gives me a decent amount of research to get on with. This, I believe, is working pretty well. That is down there. Is that down there because it's broken? Nope, it's down there just because it's busy unloading. So that has copper, and that has copper. So it looks like copper is now good. At least for the time being. I might need another train, I'll have to see. So I'm going to do a bit of a time jump. 2 reasons really. So actually I lost a lot of audio, or the microphone recordings from this section, and for several hours actually, basically an entire day's play. That was basically my fault. I think it was a loose connection or something, but it was really, quality really wasn't there. So kind of annoyed about that. Also coming to the end of the month, so a lot of this is kind of the same, just clearing out bases like this one and going to get resources. So yeah, basically I'm coming up here to get more oil. There's also a lot more copper and iron I need to get, and just general resource. So I'm going to skip over a lot of that, I think, and move on to the next thing, which is nuclear. Unfortunately I did lose some of the microphone recordings for that as well, so I'll do a quick little voiceover of what I was doing with the nuclear plant. It was quite an involved process, so definitely disappointed I lost that. So first thing to get started on nuclear really is to be able to make the stuff. So I've got reactors, heat pipes, centrifuges, heat exchangers and turbines. So this is a nice simple setup here. Got the stuff coming in from the left. The extra I've added in here is going to be the concrete. Concrete was a little bit more involved because this here has basically run out of both stone and iron at this point. So what I've done is I made another one up here with the stone off of that I did before, and some new iron ore. So new iron ore, I'm just going to bring it in on a train here. These are both like unloading stations anyway, so it's not an issue with like this and this being overlapping, because probably that red circuit train won't be there all the time. And I don't need much capacity for iron ore. You don't use a great deal for concrete, so just bring in a little bit there. And what I did for that, I haven't got any iron ore trains at all right now, so I just like grabbed a belt from one of those and got a nice little simple train here. That's just literally iron ore just for concrete. A few centrifuges built. I built this over here by that uranium patch I had, so not very far. Acid is basically copy paste the same one I used for the blue circuits and such, because you do need acid for these miners. A lot of games here trying to fit them around this edge. I think I'll have to get as many miners as I can on it. It's a very awkward shape, and I've got a lot of kind of weird pipes sort of snaking around here. Now I put productivity in there just to try and get like as many 235s as possible, because I would like to have enrichment going. It's not completely compulsory for nuclear plants because nuclear fuel lasts such a long time, but I'd like to have it going anyway. So what I've done is got those running. They're going to feed into this splitter here, which is going to act as a filter. And basically I just need a way to hide at least 40 of those, which I now do have, because you need 40 to start enrichment. And all the U-238 that I don't need right now, I'm just going to shove it into all these boxes here. As you can see, you get through quite a lot of it. Like, that's a full box already. That's nearly full. And I've only got 60 of those. So even if you're not doing enrichment, you definitely want a lot of boxes to store this, unless you have another use for it. I think the only use for it right now would be if I wanted to make uranium rounds, which I'm not currently doing. So since I had that U-235, what I've done, I built 2 stations. Very simple station design. But I can't rely on a factor gain. I say 2 stations, it's like 2 lines, but it's 3 stations. So these are if I want to ever have a train for 235 or 238, they're just going to store it there. This is iron plates to make the fuel cells, so I don't really need that many iron plates at all, but that's the size of my train right now, so quite possibly this train will never come here again, at least in the time I play this game, because that is a lot of fuel cells in terms of iron. But it's what I had, and also because as a result that train is almost never going to be there, I'm not too worried about the fact that both of these other stations rely on that piece of track. So what I've done for the enrichment is fairly simple. So coming in here, being filtered, so I've got the 235 on one side and the 238 on the other side, so these don't get stuck with it being blocked. So this is going to take the 235, so it took the first 60 I had to start with, loads it in there, then it's going to do its thing, and it produces one extra 235 compared to what it started with. Output's there, so it can actually grab them straight away. This is kind of make it faster to bootstrap. It's also why I put so many beacons around, because when you've only got like 40 to start with and you want 40, 80, 160, actually they store like extra, so it's more like 80, 160, 300. So you see the problem there. You want to get a lot of it just to like have spare. So by doing this, it comes out there, goes straight in. It's like a shorter little loop because it'll just keep looping around there until this is filled up. Once it has filled up, it will come back around there, join the mainstream, just in case any of these hadn't got enough yet. Otherwise, at this point, for the most part, these inserters are just picking up fresh 238. This all comes down to the end then, and then it can be picked up by this. This needs both the 238 and the 235, which is another convenient reason to have this mixed. Then I'm just taking the 235 by itself over to that train, because I had the 238 there. This then loads up onto a train, and if I actually get this train back quickly, just jump in there. So you can see it's unloading the fuel cell. So what I've done is I've slot limited it because 50 fuel cells is already a really big stack. So I don't want it to carry more, and therefore I've just done an activity. When it's unloading, it's just going to unload until it's used up all the fuel cells. So it's not actually going to come back until it's done 50 fuel cells, which you can see they're backed up now. I'm just going to ignore that because I lost the original like voice recording for this, so I'm like many hours past this anyway. I'm just kind of showing you what I did. So a little trick I did here. Done it in the past with a circuit and belt conditions. I think this way works a lot better, so kind of unfortunately I lost that. Basically I don't want to have like too many fuel cells there because it just seemed wasteful, especially when you have multiple reactor setups. And ideally I'd have put the train a bit closer. This is still not perfect, but basically what this is doing is this is doing read content. This is only adding them when it's run out of fuel cells. And because this inserter is a slow inserter, doing one at a time, it just limits how many can be on there, and they'll go around. These will pick up the fuel cells and replace them and drop off the spent fuel cells when they're done. Probably won't see one of those just now, but you can see they come down here, and that's where those two came from. Now, when it came to the actual reactor design, I couldn't use my standard reactor designs as such because mine are quite long this way and there's too many cliffs around. It was already a bit of a pain with these cliffs. This is a near perfect ratio, I think. Got 8 reactors going into 112 heat exchangers into 192 steam turbines. This should generate, I think it's about 1.1 gigawatts, maybe 1.2 or just under. I guess you can add all these together. It should be almost fully, like, at the moment it's not running full capacity as such because I'm not using it, I'm only using 284, but it should be able to run at full speed. Like I said, actually there was a mistake I made when I first did this. So you notice these pipes here, but I did fix this at a later point. This was basically because when I was copy pasting around blocks of stuff, I placed these too far apart. That's kind of a stupid error. Otherwise I've been very conservative on the pumps. This is probably a lot more pumps than I needed. Same there, but pumps are kind of cheap, I wasn't too worried about it. The other design I've taken here, I was going to do 2 pipes. Like I said, I'd normally do a long one, so what I'd normally do is, for a longer design that's like longer and thinner, I would take a pipe out like that. And then I have 2 pipes here because I find otherwise your steam pipes, they basically become the bottleneck. But what I did instead is, because I moved a bunch of these steam turbines off to the side and down, I took these pipes out of this side so they can go there, and then they feed into these blocks, and they feed into these blocks. It's actually a complete half and half design, so like you can just forget about half of this and essentially it's just a mirror of the other half in terms of the heat exchangers, the layout. Well, obviously not the exact layout because of cliffs, but the general like ratios. Now, doing a 2x4 is quite difficult because, like I said, the ratios on these aren't particularly nice because that's 103, that's 60, which means it's not 1 to 2, it's not 1 to 3, it's not even like 2 to 3, it's just awkward. So what I've kind of done, and it seems to be working, I did actually test it in the editor quickly so I could put full power draw on. If you go into editor mode on a save file, you basically put down one of those energy interface things so you can basically make as much power draw as you need so it runs at full speed. But what I've kind of done for balancing anyway is you've got this pipe at the back. The pipe at the back comes around here and then these are joined together. This seemed to work okay. When I've done bigger ones before I started having problems because so you got this pipe here with some number of heat exchangers on it, which is fine for that pipe capacity. You get to here, you want it to go like steam to go this way first and then this way like second, and then likewise you kind of want this one to go here first and then this one second and so forth. But the pipes don't understand that. They're not like one-way pipes, they're two-way pipes, and sometimes they don't do what you think and you end up with like a piece in between that seems to bottleneck for no apparent reason. But this way did seem to work. And I think it's because I've got smaller numbers, so I normally build it bigger. So because I've only got 10 there, if you think about it, it's 10 times 60, it's only 600. Generally speaking, you can easily get 1200 or more through one pipe. And I'm just not running it at that sort of speed at all. So by basically having a design where I'm not anywhere near the pipe capacity at all, I'm really, really far below the pipe capacity. When you think like from here, it's like how many tiles, then steam turbines. I think just keeping it like really below capacity was the saviour there. The other trick was to keep these heat pipes short, which is why it's kind of right here. Like I know some people like to do this tileable design. I've never managed to make a tileable design work without landfill, because the only way I've got it to work really is if I can have basically a strip of water here and a strip of water here and have heat exchangers on both sides of the reactor with nearby water. I mean, I guess you could maybe make it work. I put the reactors here, then heat exchangers, and a ton of pipes. But yeah, I tend not to go above 2x4 because it starts getting increasingly difficult to actually connect these together. But this does generate a lot of power, and I can basically take this core design, so this, and I should be able to fit this basically over here or something if I need more. And now I've just got to get these strips of steam turbines to fit, which these ones are slightly more complicated because it goes like that way and then there's a bit that goes that way and that way because of how these join together. But these central ones, they're just simple strips, so a little bit of loss of efficiency in pipe throughput because of undergrounds, but like I said, I'm nowhere near the pipe capacity on this design, so it did seem to work out quite nicely for me. Plus, this should give me more than enough power to actually now get started doing beacons and stuff properly, so that's really nice. Just a shame that I lost like the step-by-step of me building it, and I thought of narrating it step-by-step as I did it, but it's really hard to even like, I don't know, I could like write down what I said because it was intelligible, it just wasn't good because I think there was a loose connection on the mic cable, and then that played with like the noise suppression and stuff on OBS, and it was just did not work very well at all. So that's a shame, but yeah, this is basically what I've got. And I'll be able to move on to doing a lot more stuff in modules. So the main difficulty with process units, I think, is going to be the amount of green circuits needed. The fact you've got basically two inputs, one of which is, like I said, very big. You also have the pipes output. So I can't actually am aware of like a good way of doing a tileable one of a pipe. I can tile it in like one direction, but I'm going to just do the pipe outside the beacons, which will then make this not tile in this direction. But make that tile there. Maybe there's a way of doing it, but yeah, I've definitely never come up with what that would be. So basically, because you've got only one tile here, so I can have a belt, but then there's where do you put the pipe if you need to have inserters on both sides. But I think it's a good compromise because you don't make a huge amount of blue circuits, so usually this doesn't seem to be too much an issue for me. if you do have to do like 4 rows, 3 rows, whatever. I guess the downside is basically beacon consumes a fixed amount of power, so the more, like I say, machines can have in range of 1 beacon, you get extra power efficiency. So if I do this, then this doesn't tile like this at all. I can kind of do it like that, just flip it around. That does tile, and I get 2 rows, but I can't do them more than 2 rows because you end up with that. Well, I mean, it tiles in terms you can place it, you just don't get that shared beacon advantage. So anyway, so if you've got this, I might as well build these in 3 for the power poles. It tends to be a bit easier, so that would be like that and that. Power pole, belts there, now I'll figure out those in a second. And then yeah, so my solution for the pipes on these, I think, is do this. Because I've never found a good way of fitting them in here. On an 8 beacon now, you could do 12 beacons, I guess. I just find it's a lot more expensive to build. I've not really done the math on it, I think. 8 versus 12 is relatively close. Like, the people definitely like debated back and forth which one they should build. So what I'm thinking is, electronic circuits are definitely the biggest like value here in terms of amount of stuff needed. Biggest value, biggest capacity throughput. So if I make that green circuits, and probably even make that an express belt, technically it's possible for you to have a mixed belt of input and output. So since they need so few red circuits in comparison, I can do red circuits and blue circuits on here. Delete the rest of this, so that will chain up as many times as possible. And then the downside of this is obviously I end up with the blue circuits at kind of the wrong end compared to where I want them, which is up there. So let's see, actually I'll do it the other way around. I think having a belt of red circuits is preferable to a belt of blue circuits in terms of distance and just how much like resources the belt itself represents. So I'll cut up here, and then the red circuits, they'll need to change to come down, around and up there. So what I've done here, so very basic, I'm actually making sure they're inserted on that side. For the time being, I actually decided having lots of red circuits on belt again, kind of wasteful. I've got a buffer there anyway, so I just put that in to make it on one side. But if I do go double-sided or I forget and put it on the wrong side, I'll side load there just to be sure. And then this splitter is basically acting as a filter, so the blue circuits go up to where they were before, nothing special there. And I didn't do the calculation on this, and I always get surprised by just how many green circuits I used. So even though I've got a blue belt for the sole purpose of bringing in green circuits, as you can see, I'm only actually getting maybe 4 of these up working all the time. And in terms of space, I've got space to go all the way up there. So I'm going to leave that for the time being because I don't think I need more production, even if I bought a second belt in and so forth. Don't think I need it right now. So I'll leave that and let's move on to the next one. On to red circuits. So I'm still going to make the cables in place. So same idea of the beacons, 2 rows, cables. Can I just see how many of these is? I forget the exact ratios. Probably just going to do it by look and feel. I'm not really doing like a massive mega factory that's pushing UPS too much. I don't need to make it perfect. So what I'm thinking here, I need to actually change that. Yeah, let's change that quickly. So first problem is cables take up a lot of space. So this in this one assembly machine probably wants both sides of the belt. So I can only put things on there on one side. So what I can do is put another belt here, side load it. Now I have both sides. Copper can come in somewhere like that. And this is the easy bit though. So the problem I've now got is if I do a full belt of copper cable, I need to have plastic and electronics. So let's say that's another belt. And then I need to have the output, and yep, that's not going to fit. So what can I do there? So I say I need to do some sort of underground, I guess. So we could do every 2 machine. I'll do 2 machines so I can have inserted like there and there. Then obviously that's going to be the cables over there, however many that needs to be. Then for output, now the design you see a lot of, and this design I don't want to do because I really I just don't like the way it works, is if you have like blue belts there, you can have red belts and you can do that. And these actually you can see they're separate. The different types of underground belts are completely separate. But I really don't like that because it messes with my mind of how this stuff physically works. And it's like we've got a tunnel and you've just gone through you just dug through the roof of the tunnel. I guess you could have crazy how it goes like that or something, but I like to avoid that, to be honest. I kind of prefer not to do it. So what does that leave me with? Well, I can put a belt there, but now where's the inserter go? And this can't move out because these only have 2 tile range. So I think generally is if you've got that, and obviously that continues on, so that's going to be there. I'll do this middle one because at the end one's special anyway, or slightly special. So the only place left now to put an inserter, because that's going to be input. So the only place left for an inserter for output is going to be there and there. And basically that means you've got to have a belt here. And I say if you're doing belt weaving, it's just simple, you put the belt there. But I'd rather avoid that. But what you can do is side load on here, because remember the little trick. They've actually changed the graphics. It used to be less clear. I still think it's not as clear as it could be. But if you have so what you're seeing here, and on that one it's even harder to see. I realised I should change it. You can see the sprite change a little bit. It only blocks half the belt. So if I put an item here, that can't go through. If I put an item here, that can go through. And you look at where this is going, it's going on that edge there. Just really hard to see it in that direction, I think, unless you know exactly what you're looking for. So this does work. So it's a cool little trick. It comes up very occasionally. This is possibly the only real time now that we have filter splitters I still use this technique. And it's not so much for blocking the lane, it just happens to be the only way I'm aware of really on a beacon setup to make this fit. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know how many I need, I can't remember, to be honest. I've got a blueprint around somewhere, I think, with a correct number, but I'm going to assume it's going to be 6 or something. It should be more than 6, so I know it's 1 to 6 on without productivity. So with productivity, that's what, an extra 40%, but speed plays a part. 40% on 6 though, what would that give me? So that'd be 6 times 1.4 in math terms, which is about 8 point something. So let's do 8, and I'm going to see how that works. So obviously that goes there. Just going to collect them up. When I get to do beacon modules is when I finally start using substations, because you start running out of places to actually put the power poles, whereas before, like, where isn't it? I've actually deleted all the red circuits, so it doesn't really matter. But before with like layouts like this, there's always so many tiles around, you can just use the basic power part, it's easy. For beacons, it becomes more tricky because now I've got stuff there, I don't have any blank tiles. And it's similar to the small power pole being annoying because it doesn't have 2 tiles to reach, it can't reach across a double belt. The medium power pole is annoying because it only has 3 tiles to reach, it doesn't reach across a beacon or across an assembly machine. So I'm going to have to go get the substations research, because then I can either put those down there, which wouldn't be tileable, or I can put them down there and just belt under them, and that makes it nice and tileable. Actually, I do have the tech. Apparently I'm just blind because it was there all along. I was like, I'm sure I'd done this research. I knew I was going to need it, and yeah, I had, and then I forgot. So I think it's going to need 2 of these, yeah. So might as well use one up here then, so that can go there nicely. So I don't actually need any of those now, because that will cover all of that. Then that covers up to there, so that gap there, and that covers the rest of them. We actually have one more beacon there, one more beacon there. That doesn't quite get covered right now. I'm just going to put that there for the time being. I'm going to see if I need more sand machines or not, but this will work for the time being. Obviously that will, come on game. There you go, have to delete it. I guess it doesn't do an underground belt to the belt, it's already there. So underground belt, that's the end. Link that back up to the copper, the plastic. I'll upgrade that in a second. I just want to see if this works, and the green circuit. So here it is all linked up. So that's a nice supply of red circuits. So looking at that, it looks like I'm now short on copper cables. So I think another trick I'll do is put that there. And I could probably go just calculate the exact ratio, but I kind of like to do it just in game, just like seeing what I've got, seeing how I can improve things, seeing how things flow. So that's going to increase the copper cable supply a little bit because an extra beacon, so it's going to get 390 instead of 340% crafting speed. And that looks like it's now just about perfect. So this one here does seem to be running all the time, but I'm not rapidly filling up loads of extra spare copper cable. So if I build 4 of those, I should have almost 2 complete red belts, so that would be nice. What I'm wondering though is, should I build this up, just move it up here? I think our answer to that's going to be yes. So it's up against the cliff, it'll be a bit more space efficient, and then I don't think I'm going to get space for another one there actually. Maybe in the future I'll change this, but I don't think I'm going to have enough space to have 2 double stacked, 1 and 2, without hitting the cliff, and I can always just put more up there if I need them. So yeah, for now I'm just going to have, I think, 4 of these here. They'll merge together and make 2 belts. So all of that is connected up now, so I'll take care of plastic, like I said, we'll do that next. Kind of a little change I did here, I didn't actually have enough express belts on me because I guess I've been just stocking up as many, I didn't want to go back to the base. But fast belts will serve the purpose here for now. And how I've done the 4 things is you got one there and add a side load onto the other side there. Same deal there. And this is basically exactly how it was before. I'm just upgrading it to express belt and I'll change some of those around a little bit because that's changed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut off the coal, wait for that to dry out, and then we'll have a look at plastic. So coming on to plastic, I've got kind of a similar problem as with processing units or blue circuits. So plastic, the problem is the amount of plastic output. So I don't really want to put the plastic and the coal on a shared belt. I think that's going to be difficult. Should actually meant to put the productivity modules in there as well. And also, because it's so fast, you actually need very many of these. So what I'm thinking is, basically, as I said, like the blue circuit, if I just put the pipe out there, yes, I can't tile it as well. Yes, the beacons are then less shared. But I don't think that's a big deal because I can do that. Then I can do like another one there. That would go there. So it does tile in that way, so that will be shared. It just means that because those pipes are going outside, that won't be shared. Now, as I said, it's a very fast recipe, so I think I'm going to start with just 3 to see how that works. So that would be the coal, that would be the plastic. So that can go there. And then, like I said, for the oil, what I'm just going to do is pipe it outside because then it's out the way. Now I can go connect that up over there. Coal is going to come in. I don't know if I need a stack inserter. Maybe I do. Let's go stack inserters just in case. Because this is 1 second to start with, and I'm about to make it. What was these? Yeah, it's going to be like 300% or something. Very fast either way. Get that down somewhere. Can it actually connect? No. Go there, I guess. Do that. That connects fine. Make sure those beacons have power. So that connects all that. Coal. Well, I guess even with productivity, if it's 1 coal to 2 plastic, if I've got 1 express belt of output I probably don't need an express belt of input. So stick with fast belt. I might need 2 fast belts, so I might change this to have the 2 belt. Have a see how it goes. Just gonna connect this up and then see what it does. So a little bit hard to see, but it looks to me like the plastic is backing up to there now, so there is slightly more plastic production required. I could probably fine tune it with exactly how many beacons there is, like maybe I can get rid of that beacon or something. But I think I'm going to leave it as is. It looks like it's pretty close and should be good enough. Like the differences then become pretty marginal. So I'm going to build the opposite one of those, get the other coal across, and I should have a complete setup. So red circuit is completed, so it ends up looking like this. So I had the 2 of those. They're feeding into there. You can see they are backing up, so I don't actually need to make these completely packed because I don't have enough red circuit production for it just yet. Lots of red circuits coming in there though. We've got the coal, which is using kind of like that. I actually didn't do a big splitter like that because I only did 2 belts. And I didn't have a lot of space there, so I've got the 2 splitters there to merge the pairs, and then a second splitter, well, a third splitter there just to balance it between the 2. And as you can see, the lanes on these aren't balanced, but because now I've got left and right on every wagon, I don't think I'm going to have the same problem where the wagons end up with 1 wagon being empty and 1 wagon being stuck full. I think I've resolved that problem. So coming on to green circuit, because green circuits use such a large amount of copper cable, I'll try and do a direct insert design because then I don't have to worry about having the cable on a belt somewhere. Now this makes the beacon setup a little bit more complicated. So what I've done is I put a ring down, trying to work this out, and basically I think I'll do is I'll get it running and I'm just going to adjust it. I can basically remove beacons and stuff until I get this 1-to-1. Now obviously this is going to be, I think, this isn't exactly 1-to-1, but I think it is close. So yeah, when I say 1-to-1 it's not quite correct. I think it'll be close, but I think it's still better than having a belt of copper cable when you use such a large amount. Because if you think about it, when I did the red circuit, which because I stopped the green circuit, of course, our whole factory is going to shut down now. I should have just built the new ones in a different place. Anyway, so you can see here, this 1 circuit thing was an entire express belt. So rather than trying to deal with that, I guess I could have done like a row of circuits and a row of cable and then an express belt between them. But I'm going to try this without any belts at all. Anyway, so the problem we're going to have, so copper cable is easy because that's going to be copper plate, goes into there, goes into there. I then need to find some place where I can put, some place to put the iron plates and the circuits themselves. So if that's an output there, I could make it a mixed belt, which would be an option. So then it'd be like input output like I did for the blue circuit. That's an option, or I can try and fit another thing in here. Now the other thing I'm aware of actually looking at this is I might actually want to change this slightly anyway, because you see this here compared to that. So if you tile this down, you end up with eventually, let's just turn those off. Do this. I think it's on the third one. Yeah, you can see you can't even copy paste it to start with because stuff like doesn't line up. And what happens is, yeah, you get to this one, and that is aligned, which means actually this assembly machine here doesn't get the normal number of beacons because that doesn't reach and that doesn't reach. So you only get those 3, which is, yes, it's making it a little bit less compact in terms of space, but having different assembly machines with different numbers of beacons is normally a pain, so I'm going to avoid that. So that means I can move. Do I move that up one? Yeah, I move that up one. So that moves up 1 tile, like that. Turn those back on so I can move stuff. Probably didn't want that road report doing stuff, but it'll be a pain to delete it. So anyway, that brings that to there. Can I do anything useful with this extra space though, is the question. For example, change that. If that was there on the corner, still no space for that to underground, is there? No. What if that came in there? Did something like that. The next one would be, let's just get those out the way. Next one would be there. I'll figure out the power poles later. So then that won't be like that. This will be like that, because then that can go there. That comes down there. Then this one has to do the opposite, I think. So it's going to go like that. Inserter like that. Through there, and then that's the same as that one. So at this point it should all tile like so. Yep, it does. Not sure if I need express belts or fast belts. I'm just going to go with express belts on everything to start with. Then what am I going to do? So which one's going to be output? Let's make this the output one because it can go up to there easily. So output, output. That has to be input then. That's an input one. Their input. Find a place where the power pole can go. I guess I could actually use the substations. It'd possibly just be easier. Then they can just be there and I don't need to have all these power poles. Moved it down a tile so I could fit all the belts more easily. And then let's see how this is working. So it's actually a complete fast belt. So let's make that an express belt then, because that definitely confirms I do need express belt for this. So it's actually getting output limited, and let's see what this one's getting limited by. Working output full, then gradient full. They do that, so they work. So let's see if I need 2 of those. I think I can move that back a tile. See if that works a bit better. So it actually looks like just one of these is very, very near to a full belt. So the question then is, if I get rid of, let's pull out that one. Actually, it's really better to remove one of the ones that aren't shared, like those 2. Let's see if I do that, how this is ending up. Okay, hit item ingredient shortage as well, so give it an extra inserter. Then that's working. That seems to be like it's going to keep going quite happily. Well, look how fast that one's going. That's going to be handy because I can then use that extra bit of space I made. Didn't mean to do that. Put the green circuit on there by accident. What I want to do is put the green circuit here. So now I've got both sides of the belt. That's very nice. That's basically almost a full belt. I'm going to call it good enough. So if that mirrored, it looks like this. I guess that's maybe 2/3 of a belt, but could I try and put an extra one on? I could try and put an extra one of these here. Then this middle one would have to be able to put it onto both sides. So let's see how exactly that could look. I'm just going to upgrade this one first. So if that goes like that, bring that down, bring that up. Got the iron here. That doesn't need to go any further. That needs to come down. So that should be operational. Okay, at this point I guess I definitely do need an express belt on the copper because it uses up more copper than it does iron. So I think this one can move down, or more specifically this one can move down. So if I move those all down, then I get that space for free. Let me try and work out what this does. So I've got the one loading there and there, and that one there. I think that's still loading on the wrong side. I want it to be... So I want 2 on that side, then 1 on that side. So I think that's what that does. I want to see it. I want this side here to be full. Oh, where's the iron gone? Nope, it's 1 out of iron. Okay, I parked the train there. Let's go fix that. So yeah, with 2 inserters there, that now looks like it's completely packed. And then I put them on the wrong side though, didn't I? That's unfortunate. Yeah, I do need to make this be the other side. Guess I forgot about that. Okay, well, I've got space here, so if I do that, then they're on that side. Then I can do that, and that will insert onto that side. In fact, I can make it a bit more compact, I think, if I do that way. Yeah, so now they're on there, and then this means this will work correctly because that can go around there, and I'm able to do that side as well. So that seems to be working very nicely. Now I have actually got 2 more belts there, 2 more belts there, and that's the problem there. So if I build double this, then I'm going to have 4 belts of output, and really getting into 2 wagons is not going to be that useful. I think I want 4 wagons. Now not only is upgrading that required, though, I need to upgrade this. That's easy. I need to upgrade this, which is probably doable. I can bring the track around there to make this longer. And then there's this. So the green circuits, this hasn't actually got any stuff in it right now, I guess it's just starting up since I had it stopped for a while. But the green circuits is this, and yeah, there's no space for 4 wagons there, and the other 2 would hang over there. So I'm going to have to change that if I want to go to 4 wagons. Maybe I can move it over there, or there, or there, or somewhere else out the way. Build it up there maybe. There's space around, but going to have a think on that one. But this is working very nicely. So with this I do have the green, red and blue circuits with beacon layout. So if I need to expand them, I guess I'll just expand them like in the background because I don't think it's that interesting to show. It's basically just going to be copying this design. Like I said, I'd like to get a second one in. Might have to rearrange a bit to make that happen. But it's a very good foundation in terms of design stuff because now I've got this, I basically just need to do the oil, the rocket part. Yeah, the oil and the rocket parts are the main things to do before I can have the complete science, including space science with beacons. And then, like any resource and stuff, like I had this one already, so basically I'll just be doing more expansions like this, and I'm probably just not going to show all the outposts. Obviously I got some more oil, probably going to need some more copper, there's lots of that around. Iron's a little bit more in depth because there's biters on, I think, all the spare iron patches, but again, I just saw the tank, and I got the tank, and especially with the... Now I built those with the personal laser defense, so I can just kind of roll through bases. And it's not really an issue. At least until I get behemoths. I'm not even sure then, like, the tank with the upgrades, I don't think I even need the space upgrades. I think even with behemoths, I've not got an issue, and it's not going to really change anything. So be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the next one.